Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Monday morning, January 24th. It will be quite an interesting week for the eastern part of the nation to closely monitor a storm threat that looks like it'll come in the Friday night, Saturday time frame. There will most certainly be a strong ocean storm. The question still remains as to its ultimate storm track. Will it come a little bit closer to the east coast than some of the current computer forecasts project? Again, for the Friday night, Saturday time frame, it certainly has all the ingredients to become a powerful storm and a big newsmaker along at least portions of the eastern seaboard late this week, early this weekend, and it certainly will be the main theme of what we'll monitor over the next few days. I wanted to kind of jump ahead, first of all, to the Thursday night forecast map here from last night's 0Z run of the GFS. And by the way, I'm using the 0Z operational run as opposed to the 06Z. I kind of discussed this in prior videos, for example, out there on our Meteorology 101 page. You have to be very careful with the 06Z runs and the 18Z runs in terms of snow map forecasts going out several days. Over the weekend, there was an 18Z run by the GFS that had tremendous snowfall along the I-95 corridor, only to be thrown completely away by the next run, the 0Z run. The 6Z runs and the 18Z runs have stale, 6-hour-old upper air observations, and that can make a huge difference in the whole upper air pattern for snowstorms, which are very intricate atmospheric phenomena. And if there's a big snowfall projected by a 06Z run, don't buy into it unless it's confirmed by the next run. The 0Z run and the 12Z runs have the current upper air data. So again, there's a video out there on our Meteorology 101 page. I'm using the 0Z run right now, and jumping ahead to Thursday evening, these are a couple of key players here I want to point out. This is a map at 250 millibars in terms of the winds. Main thing I want to emphasize here is, I mentioned up front, all the ingredients are shaping up for a big-time storm. The question is exactly where it ends up. First of all, you have a northern stream system here and a southern stream active branch of the jet streak. So we have strong winds down in the deep south. This is, again, late this week. I'm jumping ahead to the Thursday evening forecast map. And a powerful jet streak here in the northern branch of the jet stream. So the combination of the two will certainly play a big role in the Friday night, Saturday situation. They phase together. The question is exactly how quickly they can phase together. Will the storm be a few hundred miles off the Mid-Atlantic coastline or the New England coastline, or tucked in a little bit closer? Let's just roll forward with this and watch as we go into, this is now Friday morning, and again, a very active branch in the southern stream and a very active jet streak there in the northern branch, the northern stream, and they tend to phase together by the time we get to Saturday morning. And at this particular time, very likely there'll be a strong surface low pressure area somewhere off the Mid-Atlantic coastline or the southern New England coastline. It's still several days away, and that's one of the main things we'll monitor over the next few days, exactly where this storm may end up and how quickly it can intensify with northern jet streak, southern jet streak. And we'll see in a moment here, the 500 millibar pattern is very favorable for significant intensification for this upcoming weekend, Friday night, Saturday time frame. Again, the question is how close to the eastern seaboard it ends up moving. Well, let's now shift to the 500 millibar height anomaly, starting with right now, Monday morning here. The prior map started off at Thursday evening, but here I want to start off right this morning and just move forward here, again using the operational run of the GFS at 0Z, not the later 6Z run, but the 0Z run here. We're moving forward here as we go through, first of all, midweek. This is the Wednesday morning forecast map. By the way, very cold Arctic air mass floods the northeastern quadrant of the nation at midweek. Wednesday could very well turn out to be one of the coldest days so far, with a lot of wind, very low wind chills, and temperatures definitely confined to the 20s for highs in the D.C., Philadelphia, New York City corridor. We'll talk a little bit about that shortly here. Let's move forward here. Watch what happens here by the time we get into the latter part of the week. Here we are, Friday morning. Notice strong troughing intensifying here across the U.S. by the time we get into Friday, and a very strong ridge popping up. A key player here. Talked about the jet streaks in the northern branch and the southern branch being key players. So are these features right here. A ridge out west, a ridge over the North Atlantic, and a deep upper level trough forming right here over the eastern U.S. This is Saturday morning, and this is a very potent setup here. We have a strong upper level low starting to take on a negative trough axis. By that I mean the trough axis is aligned a little bit from the northwest to the southeast, and whenever that happens, you typically have significant intensification of a system right in this region, right in the eastern flank, maybe the northeastern quadrant of the overall upper air pattern. But notice here, upper level ridging over the North Atlantic and over the western U.S., and exactly how strong this ridge gets, and this ridge out over the North Atlantic will have a role in that ultimate storm track. Will it be a few hundred miles off the eastern seaboard, or tucked in closer, just 100 miles or so? Right in this region right here could in fact produce a significant impact in the mid-Atlantic region, certainly in the southern New England area. They have right now the best chance of having a significant impact from this ocean storm. But again, this is a potent pattern right here from last night's operation on the GFS at the 0Z run. This is for Saturday morning. Now, let me just jump to another model, the Canadian model here for the same time frame. This is Saturday morning. This is the Canadian model for Saturday morning compared to the GFS. And you can tell Canadian model is a little bit stronger with that upper level low over the southeastern part of the nation, a little bit stronger perhaps with the ridging out along the North Atlantic and the western part of the U.S. Right here for the GFS and right here to the Canadian. And this is the reason why the Canadian model has been even more bullish for the chances of a significant impact on Friday night and Saturday in the Mid-Atlantic region, in the northeastern part of the nation. I tend to favor the Canadian model right here. It's been very consistent, not like the GFS, which has really waffled back and forth, especially between the 18Z runs and 6Z runs versus the 0Z and 12Z. This is the Canadian forecast model for Saturday morning event. Again, a very potent upper air pattern, likely leading to a significant ocean storm in the Friday night, Saturday time frame. Well, those prior maps were for the North American viewpoint. Let's now focus in on the CONUS, the continental U.S. I wanted to point out the 850 millibar temperature anomalies using the 0Z run of the GFS here. A very cold morning to start off the day here, and watch what happens. Tuesday, it gets a little bit milder, probably a little bit of rain, maybe a little bit of snow on a Tuesday in the Mid-Atlantic region. I-95 corridor cities like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, likely 40 to 45 degrees for afternoon highs. Again, a little bit of rain or snow. But here is another Arctic blast coming right on the heels of Tuesday and arrives Wednesday. This is the Wednesday morning forecast map. Very cold day coming on Wednesday. Windy conditions, temperatures confined probably to the low 20s, places like Philly, New York City, maybe the mid to upper 20s in D.C. Perhaps perhaps the coldest day of the season so far, if not the coldest, one of the top 2 or 3 coldest so far on Wednesday. Then we move forward, and it remains plenty cold enough as we get into the end of the work week. Here we are by Friday morning, and then finally by Friday night, Saturday morning, a lot of cold air around, and there will be a storm over the ocean somewhere off the Mid-Atlantic or southern New England coastline at this particular time. Still a little too early to define exactly where. Well, let's walk through the surface forecast maps from the operational run of the GFS. We do have a weak clipper system right here by tonight, Monday night, causing some snow over the eastern Great Lakes, western parts of Pennsylvania, New York, and the Ohio Valley. It tends to weaken like yesterday's system did. That produced some decent snowfall. That same area, eastern Great Lakes, eastern Ohio Valley, western Mid-Atlantic, but it tended to fall apart as it crossed the Appalachians. This will do the same, tend to weaken as it crosses the Appalachians. Nonetheless, it can be a bit of rain or snow on Tuesday, but generally milder. This system continues to move to the east across the Gulf of Mexico and will have no impact on the Mid-Atlantic region as it goes out to sea. Then we start to turn upstream, and here is another Arctic blast here. Cold frontal system comes through Tuesday night. Very cold day shaping up for Wednesday morning. We've often talked about these dashed blue lines here. They call thickness levels. The lower the thickness value, the generally correlated with lower and lower temperatures. You see a 504 thickness line right here as of Wednesday morning. 498 right in this region as of Wednesday morning. It's a very cold air mass backed up by an Arctic high pressure system. Now we move forward, and attention turns to the eastern seaboard by the time we get into the late Friday, Saturday time frame. Here we go. By Friday night, GFS, the 0Z run of the GFS, has low pressure starting to intensify along the South Carolina coastline. Colder air pouring into from the north and west. And yes, we have one of my favorite things to look for here is whether it be high pressure across southeastern Canada. Indeed, that's sitting there as of Friday night. Then the GFS does in fact intensify the system right here by the time we get to Saturday morning. But it's far enough off the coast, according to this particular run, that the heaviest snow is kind of confined to coastal regions by the time we get into Saturday morning. Can this end up a little bit farther to the west, let's say in this region? Absolutely. That's one of the things we'll monitor over the next few days. Again, the Canadian model, a little bit closer to the coast. Some of the European ensembles closer to the coast, and we'll in fact show that in a moment here. But this is how it's shaping up. It will ultimately be a very strong storm with a lot of wind with it. Somebody in the northeastern states likely to get rocked from this system Friday night and Saturday. Exactly where this ends up, we have about 5 days to figure that out, and that's certainly what we'll end up monitoring over the next several days, the ultimate storm track. Can it end up where the GFS has it? Absolutely, that's on the table as well. In fact, the trend in recent days, recent weeks, has been for these storms to phase together a little bit too late to have a big impact on the Mid-Atlantic region. This Tuesday storm over the Gulf of Mexico just slides off harmlessly to the east out over the open waters of the western Atlantic. But this will be a much stronger system, and that will allow for it to pull back closer to the east coast compared to the next system here, Tuesday, Wednesday system over the Gulf of Mexico. Something we'll watch. Let's wrap up here. I just wanted to show the European ensembles for this weekend storm possibility. And here we go. This is the European ensemble forecast map for Saturday morning for the distribution of the surface location of that low pressure ocean storm as of Saturday morning. And it is not too far off the Mid-Atlantic coastline, southeastern coastline. The mean of all of these ensemble runs right in this region right here. The trend has been a little bit farther to the north and west as we get a little bit closer to event time. So we saw the GFS right now a little bit farther to the east. We saw portions of the Canadian model. That's certainly closer to the coast. And the ensemble run of the European is a little bit closer to the coast too. Does it move a little bit farther to the west here over the next few days? Certainly within the realm of possibility. It will depend on the ridges out across the western U.S. and the ridge across the North Atlantic and the exact timing of the phasing together of the northern and southern jet streak. So a lot of interest here over the next few days with respect to a potential significant ocean storm Friday night, Saturday time frame. That's it for now. Stay tuned to arcfieldweather.com for an afternoon update. Please visit the website over the next several days for afternoon updates each and every day. That's it for now. I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.